All right, let's go over waiver wire week 3 wide receivers. We've taken out the top 24, and I'm going to rank everybody after that. Kind of gives you an idea of what you might drop, what you might have, and who's available. All right, at wide receiver, let's get started. All right, let's get started. Wide receiver, waiver wire possibilities. We start with Rome Odunze. All right, well, Rome Odunze is owned in 91%. Remember, I'm taking the top 25 ranked and on at wide receiver. I've removed the top 24 because they're on somebody's team. Hey, no doubt. So Rome Odunze's been the number one there in Chicago, right? Outdoing DJ Moore on the team. Rome Odunze is not only just on that team, most teams, he's the number 3 wide receiver in fantasy right now. All right. 17 average a game. He exploded last week. Already has 3 touchdowns on the season. The 9% of you that don't have him on your rosters need to get him on your roster. He's the top one I have ranked for this week. Terry McLaurin, he's 100% owned, and we're waiting on him to come in. So he hasn't done much yet, but hey, he's going to deliver, and that's why we got him up here as the number 2 here. Possibility. Now, most of these at the top of the list, like I say, are going to be already rostered. Like Jamison Williams is 98% rostered. Well, the 2% should get him out there, right? So he's doing great. Had to come along last game. The first game, not so good. Last game, hey, they were hitting him. Looked like Jared Goff had a tough time connecting with him on those deep passes. Finally caught one. I don't know. I was kind of worried about that at first. Let's move over to Keenan Allen coming back, right? He's right now the 11th ranked wide receiver in fantasy scoring with that 12-point average. Right? Hey, you can see 17 touches already. That ranks him 20th in touches, 11th in position, though, ranked. So he's been pretty steady so far, right? Actually, he's been, the number 2 on the team, right? Let's just go ahead and bring up Quentin Johnston, get him out of there. So it looks like he's rostered in 83 and Keenan Allen in 81% of the leagues. So, of course, Johnston's just been going crazy. 3 touchdowns, 150 yards already. So I would still going to rank Keenan Allen just a little ahead of him, right? Hey, we're all waiting on Ladd McConkey to come on. Well, it's been pretty crowded. Hey, right now, the number 5 quarterback is Justin Herbert. 560 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's slinging that around. What happened to the running team, we thought? Right? And everyone else thought. So, hey, the wide receivers have been scoring on the Chargers so far. And I guess it's pick your poison. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen just a little heads above Quentin Johnston. That's why I have him 4th on the list. Although a lot of them probably taken in your leagues already. Let's move on to Tet McMillan and Jerry Jeudy. They're 97% owned. So, hey, these are going to be people are already taken here. Anyway, he's been doing pretty good as the number 1 option there. So, Hunter Renfro's come on a little bit. Look at that for Hunter Renfro. I have him on the list later, but, he's been operating with us. Coker's out. This Coker's on the injured reserve. He's going to be out till week 5. So, meanwhile, that Hunter Renfro's been getting some action. But Tet McMillan is the number 1 there. So, hey, he's not ownable. And, hey, Jerry Jeudy's not been doing great either. We're waiting on him. Of course, he had a great last year, right? You go to last year's stats, and he had that 1,000 yards and that touchdowns and stuff. So, meanwhile, Cedric Tillman's been doing a little better there, but we're waiting on Jerry Jeudy. I still would have him ranked here. He's 97% owned, so there's no sweat here. Let's move on to a couple more. We're getting down here. Still 100%. Actually, looks like Jacoby Myers is less owned than DJ Moore here. Jacoby Myers has, a couple solid weeks. We're waiting on Geno. Had a better week. Now he's ranked the 25th quarterback. Had a bad last game. So we still like Jacoby Myers. He's still, he's in-house playing, so everything's looking good there. I have him next, but he's rostered in almost all the leagues. Same with DJ Moore. DJ Moore's been slipping, though, right? He's currently the 49th wide receiver. 6 points a game. We talked about Roma Dunze pretty well coming in and being the established number one. So DJ Moore, here's where I got him. So anybody like DJ Moore here, I would rather have everybody above him on the list. Right? So if you're sitting on DJ Moore and Jacoby Myers is available, well, you'd take Jacoby Myers in your supplemental. So I got him. That's why I rank them all here, so we can kind of get the guys that you might and think about dropping, even though they're already rostered. All right, hit that subscribe button as the season gets closer. Our fantasy season, you want to be subscribed to get the latest. And give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Thank you. That's why I'm going to rank him like this. Makes sense. Ricky Pearsall. Right, Ricky Pearsall, hey, come down a little bit, and he comes down, and Jennings goes up the last week. Look at that nice week for Jennings there. So they're going to be the number 1 and 2 on the team until it's flagging Jennings. Does he have any injury? Questionable for week 3 with an ankle. Well, he played last week. We'll see how that works. Obviously, you'd bump Pearsall up. But, hey, you can see Pearsall's owned a little bit more than Jennings. We're starting to get down to where possibly Jennings could be available in 29% of the leagues. So, and he might, he had a good year last year. He might be, as long as he checks out, he might be, especially with Kittle out. Right? They need wide receiver help, and it's these two. So, next week we'll see how they're matching up at their home against Arizona. So, Juwan Jennings would be probably the first one, even though he's still under owned in most leagues. Pearsall really, came back a little bit, but they're still both going good. So, how about, let's go on to Wan'Dale Robinson. First one, let's mark him. Right? Wan'Dale Robinson here. He has only 42% of the teams here own him, right? And Ridley's 97% owned. Well, look at that average. 12 point. Wan'Dale's been catching everything, right? 18 touches already. Targets. That's 9th, right? He's got 9th in scoring, 18th in touches. But hey, that 12 point, he's been scoring pretty good. Wan'Dale. So especially in your PPR leagues, or must have him, need to have him, but 42% owned. He's the first one on here that, hey, he's been getting action here. Russell Wilson, of course, he's the 8th quarterback now. He's been passing the rock around 600 passing yards off that last game. First game wasn't so good. Second game was. So they're at home versus Kansas City next week with so get Wan'Dale on your team, right? Hey, and, eventually when Russell Wilson seeds his way to Dart, maybe Dart's going to be going in there, although Russell's been doing pretty good. So there's our first one is Wan'Dale Robinson. Should be on a team. Calvin Ridley, we're waiting here, right? Kind of being outshined by this. Let me get him up here. Eric Iamenor, right? Both have 14 touches, but you see that Iamenor is just a little better. He's had a good last week, had the touchdown, but hey, he's been getting targets too there. He's the number 2 there, but hey, I guess we're still waiting on Calvin Ridley. He's on 97% of the teams. So, but hey, we're kind of waiting. Hey, if he doesn't shape up, we're going to be shipping him out, and you'd be taking somebody lower on the list. But for now, he's still the de facto number 1 there. So you got to keep him. Next up, we got Romeo Doubs and Quentin Johnston. Romeo Doubs, only 37% of the team. Let's mark him, right? We got only 37%. Hey, he's been doing pretty good. The deal is he's up to 7.8, But hey, you can see here Jaden Reed's, of course, out with that and going to be out for that shoulder for a while. I mean, the collarbone, he's going to be out for a while. So, hey, it's been Romeo Doubs. This Golden's just not delivered. All right, so Romeo Doubs is the number 1 in town. So get on Romeo Doubs. He'd be my second one this week available. I mean, Quentin Johnston, hey, people are going to be jumping out and grabbing him because he's leading. He's the number 4 wide receiver right now. Like I said, I had him just a little bit lower than Keenan Allen. But hey, if I don't know how long Herbert's going to keep passing at the number 5th clip here. Maybe they're going to go back to that running team. But hey, it was that I think that it's a Jim Harbaugh said, hey, let's get him in the Pro Bowl. I guess he's been trying to make that come true to get his quarterback in the Pro Bowl. All right, so Quentin Johnston, hey, he's 83% rostered anyway, but I like Romeo Dobbs' chances, just a little better than him, right? Well, because he's the number one in town now with all the hurt. Dante Wicks here got a little noise, but Green Bay, we'll see about that. He's at Cleveland. All right, next up we have Pickens and Coleman. Boy, both 99 and 96. These people are owned, right? Well, you're all currently on Pickens, right? He's the 34th wide receiver. All right, he did come along a little bit last week, got the touchdown here. So, but hey, he's currently ranked the 34th and 99%. So he's on teams. And Coleman here too had a big first week, not so big second week. Hey, he's currently looks like the 18th wide receiver on 96. So both of these are owned. And I have them here ranked here, so they're both should be owned. And up next is Pittman and Diggs, both owned. All right, so Pittman, 23rd in scoring right now, has only the 43rd amount of touches, so he needs the ball some more. All right, Daniel Jones has been operating. He's the number one quarterback, Daniel Jones, 588 yards. Now, the problem with Indy is they just spread it around here. You see Pierce here with touches, right? Hey, you get him. Josh Downs got some touches. Pittman, of course, he's what we thought was the number one. And then Mitchell, they tried to get him. Doolin, they did try to get everybody the ball there, and let alone the tight end here, right? Who's been doing pretty good so far. Needs a touchdown, but. Anyway, so Pittman he's already 94% owned. So, but all those Indy wide receivers, they spread it around so much. I don't know. I like some of these others above here better, right? Like Wandale and Romeo Dobbs, where they're one of the top options. There's so many options going in there with Indy. You just don't know. I mean, the targets may not be there every week. Diggs, he's 93% owned. We're still waiting there. Boutte's had a little better time of it than him. So, but Diggs is the name. We still got him up ahead of Boutte. I got Boutte just a little further down the list. But Boutte's available, right? He's 44th. So I guess let's mark him because he's actually available, right? Hey. So we'll go ahead and put him back, though. We'll put Diggs back. So, hey, we see 43. Has 9 touches though, and Diggs has 12. So you can see that a little bit touches. So Boutte here, hey, had been up and down. We'll see how it goes next week for Drake May. Drake May has 500 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. All right, coming off that last game where he did pretty dang good. Look at that. So, and has a rushing touchdown, Drake May. So, hey, his 2 receivers are Diggs and Boutte, and Boutte is available. How about let's look in here at a couple that aren't very available. Chris Olave in 13%. Hasn't been doing that great, though. You can see he's ranked 54th. We got him on there still because of the name recognition. But at this point, like I'm saying here, Diggs should be owned ahead of him. Pittman, Keenan Coleman should be owned ahead of Chris Olave. He hasn't really done much. We're waiting there. Shaheed came on a little bit. I think I have Shaheed later on the list. But how about Travis Hunter here? You're not getting much. Here's the one you might consider dropping. Certainly for anybody above him on the list, Travis Hunter. Hey, Brian Thomas Jr., he's having issues too with only 47th or 11th touch rank, though. They are trying to get him the ball. Trevor Lawrence here, 449 yards passing. So, anyway, Travis Hunter, hey, even though he's owned in a lot of leagues, he's not scoring, and that could free up something for somebody above him on the list here that might look a little better, right? How about we'll go down here to Mooney, and we got 79 and 77%. So these are both highly owned too. Darnell Mooney, waiting on him, right? He hasn't done anything yet. Drake London, of course, is the game in town, but neither have been doing great. We look at Michael Penix Jr. here. Hey, slow start this last week. Didn't really pass the ball around too much. So We got Mooney there. Hey, we were still waiting. I still have him on the list because of the year before. How about Hollywood? Down a little bit last year, that first one, right? Didn't do as much. Of course, waiting on with Worthy out. So with Worthy out, we just don't know. Marquise Hollywood Brown. Thornton got the touchdown, didn't he? I got him a little lower on the list here. Thornton over here, he got the touchdown last week. So, hey, he's been doing a little better. And he's only on 2% of the leagues. So, you don't know. He's only got 9 touches here compared to 21 from Hollywood. So, just because he's been hot, hey, Hollywood's on the list because he's on the list here, right? So, Golden, boy, I don't know. I've got him on the list here. He hasn't been delivering. So, I mean, hey, like I said, if you got Golden and you want anybody above him on the list, you might drop him. I mean, hey, even though they've been trying to get him the ball, it just hasn't worked, right? And Romeo Dobbs has been coming up a little better. I mean, hey, they're both there. I would, Golden here is 89%. They're not going to be. Now, how about Tillman? He's been delivering the last couple weeks here. Of course, Jerry Jeudy hasn't. So, hey, Tillman's getting a little bit more action. The 19th ranked wide receiver because of those 2 touchdowns, right? He has 2 receiving touchdowns. That's keeping him in the game. His touches are 25th ranked. So, hey, we should mark Cedric Tillman because, hey, at least he's on the list here, right? So, hey, you could get him possibly with only 40%, 6%. So, a couple others here. How about Thornton Jr. and Josh Palmer here? Well, they're both available. Now, Deontay Johnson hasn't been doing as great as we had hoped, right? You have, where's Jacoby Myers? Did I already do Jacoby? Anyway, yeah, there he is. Jacoby Myers here. So he's been getting a little bit more action. You can see 22 touches compared to 8. So Jacoby Myers and Deontay Thornton. Trey Tucker's been getting a little action, not so much last week. So Geno had a bad game. So, hey, I'm not, we're still waiting on for the year. It's going to be Deontay Thornton over Trey Tucker. But meanwhile, Trey Tucker's been getting. So I've been moving Deontay Johnson down the list a little bit, right? Hey, so we'll see how that works. I mean, I'd have Tillman ahead of him right now. All right, so I would rather have Tillman and maybe even Golden, but the promise is still there. How about Josh Palmer and Waddle? Waddle's 92% owned. He came on, finally got a little bit last week, but boy, that touch rank 54th. He just not been getting very many touches. And Malik Washington was getting a lot of action. They're force feeding him and Tyreek. It's just not a lot been going good for Miami, right? It's just, not very good. And I mean, hey, well, Waddle's 92% owned, so you don't have to sweat it. But if you've got Waddle, boy, you'd be hoping for some more. Anyway, I rank him here how I'd like him for the rest of the year is how I got him. And Waddle just really hasn't been showing too much. All right, how about, did I do Palmer? Palmer here. He's only in 20% of the leagues, right? Hey, he's not got 108 yards, but hey, he was, brought in, paid money. Keenan Coleman possibly here, ahead of him. But anyway, Josh Palmer's on the list. He's owned. How about this Troy Franklin? He's not owned very much, right? Had a big last week. Of course, teammates with Bo Nix in college. So he's getting on. Hey, look at that touch count. 16 touches now, right? That's 22nd among wide receivers. And he's the 17th scoring wide receiver. So, hey, he's certainly one to look at here, this Troy Franklin, not Troy Franklin. So, hey, Michael Wilson here. Hey, he not doing great, but hey, he's the second fiddle there in Arizona. And Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't been doing great. So, hey, we put him on the list here. But this Troy Franklin looks a little better, right? We don't know the list here in Denver. It's certainly not Mims. Mims hasn't been doing much. He came on a little bit last, got the touchdown. But, hey, this Franklin's been getting more targets. So, hey, we put him on the list. All right. So, hey, I'd rather have him more. I'd rather have this Troy Franklin more than Michael Wilson or this Hunter Renfroe. Right. Though I have on the list. How about Josh Downs, too? Josh Downs, the Indies, just the fact that they just passed the route. Everyone. Everyone. I just don't even want an Indy wide receiver. Josh Downs, 61%. Hey, this would be a good one here. Josh Downs. Anybody above there on the list, I think I'd rather have than Josh Downs. Just they throw it around to too many people, too many mouths to feed, right? Hey, he has the 52nd amount of touches, right? So that touch isn't so great. Not that Michael Wilson's 73 over here, but we went over Franklin here, who has the 16th amount of touch, or 16 touches, which ranks 22nd. Well, he's getting the ball, and we're waiting for Denver. So, hey, this Troy Franklin would be one of the ones, if he's available, if you got to pick up. All right. Okay. How about Calvin Austin and Iamanor? A couple down here, too. 50% for Austin. Yeah, he didn't do so good last week. So he's, hey, why he's down the list. And Iamanor, he's been getting some action. Right? He's going to be the number 2, but how much of the number 2 wide receiver do you want with Tennessee and Cam Ward? Cam Ward's slow start. That's 100. What is that? 140 yards of passing a game. That's not very good with 1 touchdown. So that's been bringing Tennessee down. How about we got just a couple more on the list here? Turpin. Hey, now this Turpin, they've been trying to get him the ball. He does the punt returns, trying to get him some action. But they were trying to force feed him in that last game. It seemed like only 10 touches, but he might be coming on. Now, he is hurt a little bit, right? Questionable with a neck. So it might be a little early for him, and he's only owned at 2%. We can wait till next week. But they've been trying to get him the ball more. Shahid down here, 51% owned. Hey, he came on finally. And if he might be a name down here at 50%. Or we'll put mark him too. But, and then Wicks and this Detroit Tesla, he got in the game last week. He'd been in the game. I'll tell you what, early on, I didn't think Jameson Williams looked good at all. I was thinking, hey, this Tesla. But finally, they got going. Their office started connecting with JMO. So, anyway, that Tesla. Wicks, he's getting a little action there. So, Jaden Reed's going to be out. So, Golden's just not delivering. Last game, it was Romeo Dobbs and Wicks was getting some action. So, anyway, they're not owned very much. And the last one's down here I got on the list is Thornton and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's owned at 87%. Hey, he's just ranked down there because he hasn't been doing anything. Did a little bit last week here. But, you can see the touches. 47th in touches at wide receiver. Not so good. And 57th in scoring. So, hey, Cooper Kupp, it's been all JSN. Right? So, anyway, Thornton, we talked about him. He one of the options there, So let's go back and find my green ones here. I guess my top ranked really available is Wandale and Romeo Dobbs. Right? They're 42 and 37% of the leagues. I guess they would be my of the ones mostly available. And Wandale, get him on your team. My goodness. He's look at that. He's 18th in touches, 9th in scoring, 12 points a game. And Romeo Dobbs, just because, hey, no one else is available. And he's solid there for them. So, and then I had Butte still. Hey, only on 44. And Tillman, 46. These guys are available. Joe Flacco. Eventually they're going to switch that over. Get Gabriel in there. He actually got in a little bit last week. But, hey, maybe that spiced things up, especially for Jerry Jeudy. But Cedric Tillman, too. He is the number 2 wide receiver there. Then there was Franklin and Shahid here. It's Troy Franklin. 16 touches already. He might be one you're trying to get. So, that's who's available. Like I said, I would go with the higher on the list is the more I want. So, all right, that's the wide receivers. Let's take a look at this.